Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is the Maple Mind podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share. We have a juicy topic for you today. We are going to be talking about Bill C5, in particular, the Build Canada Indigenous Summit. Now, for those of you that don't have the background on this summit, it was planned last minute. Not all of our First Nation leaders could make it to the summit in time. Agendas were changed last minute, including the AFN chief, Cindy Woodhouse. She had issues the way it was presented, as did all the other leaders. This had to be recorded in secret. They also did not allow the media into this event. So, this is another point that's really important for you to know. Not all First Nations were invited to this summit. And for me, there was red flags from the beginning because he should have brought everybody together as an Indigenous community, the Inuit leaders, the Métis leaders, and First Nation leaders. So join us. We look forward to your thoughts. This is going to probably take a couple of shows to get through it, and then we'll do a live at the end of it. So let's hear the leaked audio, and remember to like and subscribe to the Maple Minds podcast. I want to acknowledge that Maple Minds podcast broadcasts throughout Turtle Island, and we raise our hands to the ancestors, knowledge keepers of these lands, and that we take responsibility and treat this land with kindness. I and Maple are coming to you from the territory of the Lekwungen speaking people, the Sanghees, and the Esquimalt nations. And I'm going to pass it off to my brother, who is in Mi'kmaq territory of Unama'ki.
Yes. And if you guys are wondering where Unama'ki is, it is Cape Breton. But Unama'ki encompasses all territory from all of Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and parts of Quebec. So that's all traditional Mi'kmaq territory that we call Unama'ki. Mi'kmaq, Unama'ki is specific to Cape Breton. So we have names for specific territories too. My name is Calvin Stevens, and we do a Maple podcast here every week and try to keep up to date with First Nation issues.
And I forgot to introduce who I am. I'm Monique May, and I am actually Mi'kmaq Acadian on my mom's side and a mixture of Mi'kmaq, Portuguese, English, Irish on my dad's side. So we're going to jump into it. But before we begin, I just want to acknowledge something. When I listened to these tapes this morning, I had tears in my eyes. Tears of being so proud, especially when I heard Chief Paul speak and represent the Mi'kmaq. And these are our opinions. We're going to show you some clips and then we'll tell you how we're feeling. There will be a couple of parts to this, and then we're hoping to do a live so you can jump on and give us your feedback and see how you're feeling with this Building Canada Summit. So let's get into it.
The first clip that we're going to look at is listen to the clip from Jamie Batiste and how he opened up the summit. I've personally known Jaime Batiste. I grew up with him. He's mentored me, he's taught me, and so I know him at a very intimate personal level. So I know his thought process when he deals with the government and he deals with First Nation issues. And I can tell you right now that his whole thought process is almost like capitulation. He would always say to me, "You can't beat the government, Calvin. So you have to kind of work your way, finesse your way. So it works a little bit in your favor and a little bit in their favor, but ultimately the government's going to win. So you're going to have to work with them no matter what." So for me, I can't accept that. I'm a firm believer of my rights. I'm a firm believer of standing up for what is right and keeping my integrity. It's not for me. I would sacrifice anything for the future of my children. And so my thought process is completely different from his, but he's a government official, knows what he's doing. This is just an opinion, right? If we can listen to the first part of it.
Well, thank you for being here and being patient with us all day. It's really great to be here. My name is Jaime Batiste. I'm the Member of Parliament from Cape Breton, Canso, Antigonish, and I'm the first Mi'kmaq ever to be elected. And I thank some of the Mi'kmaq chiefs who are here today, who helped me get reelected twice after that. And I'm also the Parliamentary Secretary for the Minister of Crown and Indigenous Relations, and it's my honor to help moderate the final working session with the Prime Ministers and Ministers here today. And one of the reasons I was really supportive of this idea of building one Canadian economy was because when we got a chance to hear from our Prime Minister in the Indigenous caucus, he said that we're not only talking about consultation and consent when we're talking about these major projects going forward, but we're also talking about meaningful equity, meaningful partnership, and meaningful participation as a way of moving forward. And from that point on, I really felt that this would be historic legislation that has the chance to create millions for our nations.
The real reason why Jaime Batiste supported this legislation was to make millions. Be damned with our free and informed consent. Be damned with our rights. As long as you put a little bit of money into the pockets of the chiefs. It is absolutely disgusting. Not only do I feel betrayed, but a lot of people in Mi'kmaq feel betrayed. We helped this man get elected year after year after year. The chiefs didn't elect him. We elected him. A lot of people went onto the campaign road helping this man come in because we knew growing up he was very smart, very well educated in the treaties. We thought having a Mi'kmaq MP in Parliament would look out for the best interest of us, of the Mi'kmaq, of First Nations. And then once he attains power, he turns around and does that. I know him very well. He's very, very smart. Don't get me wrong, but he's also looking out for the best interest of himself, in my opinion. During the elections, he ran for prime minister. Why did he run for prime minister? He knew he had no chance at coming in for prime minister. It was a strategic investment, and our friend
Paid off.
that is no longer with us told me about it. It was a strategic move to position himself to be exactly where he is now, the secretary. He ran as an investment to position himself to step down from the run-in, so Carney will owe him a favor, and now he's minister. He's, like I said, he's very smart politically.
He's not minister. He's their parliamentary secretary to the minister, which he did hold in the last government, because I've dealt with him on some issues and haven't been overly impressed. But I was hoping if he took that leap to want to run for prime minister, that we were going to see a new person, a new warrior in front of our eyes who would carry our voice to Ottawa. You know, what really struck me when they started this conversation is they talk about having one economy. Most Indigenous communities have no economy. So to me, it hit me hard, as well as there is no voice for the urban Indigenous people. So where do we go from here?
Like I said, we're very hurt, we're very discouraged, especially all of us that believed in him. We honestly did. After hearing that speech, felt sick to our stomach. I certainly did.
I reached out to him, Calvin, from here to help him. I knew he didn't have a chance at becoming prime minister to a certain degree, but I thought, you know what? He's stepping up to the plate. Let's see how far we can get with this. He's got some answering. He needs to be held accountable to his people.
The way we're going to get through this is we have an hour to get questions from the floor, and we have some that have been submitted already and some that have come up from the discussions that we will be taking largely from the floor from folks who have who said that they wanted to ask questions. The Prime Minister will hear the questions and then respond to every 3 or 4 questions, as well as if he wants to ask a minister to chime in on something, then he will be able to do so if he wishes. And so, I will ask that I know there's a lot of people who want to ask questions, and I know that there's a long list of people who've submitted. So what I'm going to try to do is base it on regions, make sure that every province and every area gets a chance to chime in from the folks that we haven't heard from today. I'm going to ask that you guys keep your questions, and we're asking for questions to be 2 minutes.
2 minutes. 2
Sorry.
minutes. Calvin, can you imagine bringing all these Indigenous leaders from across Canada? Oh, it was so generous of them to give them a whole hour of their time to begin with, and then tell them they have to limit their questions to 2 minutes? How insulting.
Yeah, it goes on to say, and no speeches, and
Yes.
he continuously interrupts
Hmm.
elders, chiefs, and he tells people to keep it short.
Yeah.
And he also says the prime minister may, if he wishes, will answer. First of all, you passed a legislation where before you pass any legislation, you're supposed to get First Nation free and informed
And
consent
yep.
before you pass any legislation. So this government already betrayed that obligation for them to do that. Next, after we pass this legislation, we're going to call you all in Ottawa and we're going to have some kind of consultation meeting. And we're only going to give you 2 minutes.
Mhm.
And no speeches, please. How disrespectful.
Do you
Does
know what
he
it's?
forget where he comes from? Does he forget the candor, the courtesy we give our elders and our leaders?
Mhm.
And how dare Mark Carney even not consider this kind of respect to give to our elders and our chiefs and our leaders? You're trampling on First Nations. You're not listening to your constitutional obligation of free and informed consent. They passed this legislation and we're trying to make it nice now. We'll listen to you now. Well, they've already done it. The harm is already done. The
Yeah.
trust is already broken.
I would like to welcome Marshy to our podcast. She's joining us now, so we will get her opinions as well. But Calvin, this was so disrespectful. It's like a dog's breakfast. All I could think was, like when you get invited to a family celebration and they set the kids' table. Well, I felt like they took Carney invited everybody for a big celebration, big consultation, but told them exactly when they could speak, how they could. He sat them at the kids' table.
They're treating us the exact same way they treated us when they passed the Indian Act. They
Exactly.
passed the Indian Act without our consultation, with our
Mhm.
consent, and they treated us like children.
Mhm.
Oh, we have to take care of you. We don't trust you to take care of yourselves.
Yeah,
And when we do something bad, no
exactly.
talking. This is exactly how they treated us back when they passed the Indian Act, and the same thing that they passed the Indian Act back then without our consultation and without our consent, they did it again. One chief actually said this, Mr. Carney, it's like everyone's getting to eat at the table. And then once everybody's done eating, you call us to the table to take the scraps. And that's
Yep.
exactly how he treated our people.
Dog's breakfast. Yeah, and guess what? We're not going to take it. If they want us at the table, we are the table. And people have to see that. We're not saying to the government, we're against development, we're against infrastructure. We're saying we need all this,
Yeah.
but we want our informed consent. And you made this bill without informed consent. And now you bring us to supposed consultations. If this is how consultations are going to look for major infrastructure and mineral extraction, we are going to be screwed blued. And you're right, Calvin. It is the Indian Act all over.
The way I see it is it's the pass to go off the reserve, right? It's the asking permission or not asking permission, but yet wanting to ask for forgiveness kind
Mhm.
of role. And that's where I'm having the biggest trouble with this. Now, again, I'm not for or against infrastructure. I'm not. If it's done correctly and we are getting equal payments, and it's not about money, it's not about infrastructure, it's about the accountability that the government said they would take and that they would do. And again, I feel that I blindly trusted a government that yet again is fucking us over. Pardon my French. But this is like, it's frustrating to me to see this happening because nobody's like, oh, well, you're all against it anyway. No, we just want the fiduciary consultation with the Indigenous people, whether it be First Nations, Inuit, or Métis, to happen. That's all. We just want to be a forethought in the thought process.
Don't you
Or
guys think that the first red flag that we should have all seen, and at least I saw going into this, is that he divided Indigenous people? Why could
Mhm.
he not have had a summit with all Indigenous people, our Métis leaders, our Inuit leaders, and our First Nations leaders came to the table and a representation for urban Indigenous?
Yep.
Divide and conquer. It's a simple tactic. See, the thing is, they were talking about partnership,
Yep.
all about
What
partnership,
partnership?
all
What
through
about
the election.
partnership?
All through the election, they were talking about partnership. But they
And
took our
I
partnership and they made us an associate instead.
no, what they did was they gave us perfect examples as to why we should vote for them, and now they're just giving us lip service at this point.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
They
even.
emotionally raped us.
Yes, they did. It's essentially it's essentially the residential schools all over again, taking our voice away, not allowing us to have our culture, not allowing us to have final say when we should have final say. And that's how I feel.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We spent, what, 50, 60 years fighting hard earned court
Hmm.
battles defending our treaty rights and the recognition of our treaty rights to the point where, on paper, we're supposed to be partners. They took our partnership, they took that trust away, they put it onto themselves, and they downgraded us to just being an associate, a passenger to Canada.
Yeah.
Actually, it going further in that aspect, brother Calvin, Monique, I love you. It's even further is going to say that we are the laborers that are not getting paid. We are doing the groundwork. We are doing the research. We are doing this. We are doing that. But they're taking the credit. It's like the bully situation. When someone
Hmm.
bullies you into doing your home, you do everything to get everything done, but you get none of the credit. And still all we're hearing is, "Oh, you guys are asking for money." No, we're asking our government to be held accountable, and we're asking our government to think of us as actual citizens. Because without the Indigenous people, again, you would not have Canada today.
Actually, a really good example of that in one of the clips as we move along. And that is what is said about the National Indigenous Economic Development Board and the work that they have already done. And Chief Paul tries to school the government, and I cried and
Right?
cried. I was so proud to be of Mi'kmaq
Right?
descent,
Well,
right?
let's before
Good
we
day to
look
be
at
Mi'kmaq.
Right?
before we look at Mr. Paul's clip, and I've got
Yeah.
a lot of stuff to say on that too. But let's listen to the next chief. And
Yes.
there's an incredible moment that you were talking about this earlier that he broke the treaties essentially. He broke his obligation again to First Nation communities. The government broke their obligation to First Nation communities to consult them and get their free and prior informed consent before enacting and passing legislation. He broke it, and one chief took the treaty up to the table at him to remind him. Didn't tell him directly, you fucking broke the treaty.
Jaime, one thing I want to say to you is I was speechless when you said to this chief, no, first. And then you said, walk and talk at the same time. You need to remember where you
Did he
came
say
from.
that really?
Yes, he did,
I
Calvin.
must have forgotten that. I would if I
He
was
Wow.
did. I was just
That's
like,
irreversible.
honey,
fucking
that
talk
just
to an elder
wanted
chief.
to just, yes. I'm like, that's not how we are raised.
No, it's not.
You
Oh,
know better. Do
He should
better.
be offering a public apology for that. No wonder they had a closed meeting. The
Hmm.
way they wanted to dominate
Yep.
over our leaders is sickening. Man,
I'm just tired of being a punching bag for the colonialistic government that we're living under. I'm tired of
Hmm.
it.
yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into the clip and then we'll get back to our discussion.
Jaime Batiste really should be issuing a public
Ooh,
apology to this
he
leader.
He should
should.
be ashamed of
He
himself
was
for
the
saying that.
moderator. He knows better. It was up as the moderator when we do our discussions. Whoever is the moderator, we follow the traditional laws of
Yeah,
the territory that we come from, right?
yeah.
So it was up to him to represent and follow the laws of the Mi'kmaq people, even though he's on Anishinaabe territory.
See, what he's doing is he's listening to his boss.
Yep.
His allegiances, his loyalty is to
Yep.
his boss. He forgets that First Nation people brought him in. If it wasn't for Chapel Island and Eskizoni and Afton going to the polls,
Mm-hmm.
he wouldn't have gotten elected. Every single one of us in all of these reservations pulled up his numbers for him to be elected. Mark Carney didn't elect him. Those chiefs didn't elect him. The people on these reservations elected him, and they elected him for the thought that he would defend his people, where the loyalty would be to his people, where they helped him get elected. He forgot that.
And that rings true for every Indigenous MP, and especially for our ministers who we fought hard to put you in that seat. Please remember that.